Welcome back to Coin Tool. Today, we're diving into the world of small change with a story that's all about a tiny coin that might be sitting in your pocket or tucked away in a jar somewhere. We're talking about the 1960 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary penny, but if you know what to look for, this little coin could actually be worth a surprising amount of money. Let's rewind time for a second. The year is 1960. Dwight D. Eisenhower is president. The United States is at the dawn of a new decade full of ambition, technology, and change. Somewhere in that exciting time, millions of Lincoln cents were struck by the U.S. Mint. These coins featured the familiar face of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the back. They were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them that classic deep reddish color that collectors love. But here's where it gets interesting. The 1960 Lincoln penny wasn't just any coin. It came with a twist. Or should I say a split? In 1960, the U.S. Mint produced two main versions of the penny: the small date and the large date. These variations are especially noticeable in the way the numbers in the date look, especially the number 0. In the small date version, the numbers are more compact and the 0 is tighter. In the large date version, the numbers are bolder and more spaced out. This might seem like a tiny detail, but to collectors it makes a huge difference. Now let's talk mintage. In total, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 586 million pennies that year, while the Denver Mint pumped out more than 1 billion. With numbers that big, you'd think these coins would be worthless, right? Well, not quite. Here's the secret. Among these massive batches, there are rare gems. Some 1960 pennies, especially the small date versions from Philadelphia, are highly sought after. Even more rare are the error coins. That's right. Coins that were struck improperly due to minting mistakes. For example, there are double die varieties, where the date or lettering looks like it was stamped twice. These errors can increase the value of a coin dramatically. So, how much are we talking? A standard circulated 1960 penny might be worth just 1 cent. Maybe 2 if it's in nice shape. But if you've got a small date variety in uncirculated condition, or with a doubling error, it could fetch anywhere from $10 to over $100. And if you're lucky enough to have a proof coin from a mint set, especially a small date proof, it might be worth even more. Some high-grade versions have sold at auction for several $100s. Now let's talk about the current market. As of 2025, collectors are still hot on the trail of high-quality 1960 pennies. Coin auctions and online marketplaces show consistent demand. Prices vary based on condition, rarity, and whether or not the coin has been graded by a professional service. Coins in mint state with a certified grade of MS65 or higher can command solid prices. If you happen to find one with a doubling error, the value can skyrocket. Here's what you should do. Go check your change jars. Look through that old piggy bank. You never know what treasure might be hiding. If you find a 1960 penny, take a close look at the date. If it's a small date, and especially if it has AED mint mark or looks like it has a doubling error, it might be time to take it to a coin dealer or submit it for grading. And hey, even if you don't strike gold, it's still a cool piece of American history. A penny that carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the craftsmanship of a different era. Before we wrap up, here's a quick tip. Use a magnifying glass or your phone camera to examine the date and mint mark closely. Compare it to photos of known small date and large date varieties. And if you're serious about coin collecting, consider investing in a coin grading guide or joining a coin collecting forum to learn from experts. So there you have it. The 1960 Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin that might seem small and ordinary, but just might surprise you with its history, variety, and value. Who knew a single cent could be worth so much more? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more coin collecting content and hidden treasures from your pocket change. Got questions or think you found something special? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from you, and we're here to help. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. If you're into coin collecting, or you've ever come across an old penny and wondered if it's worth anything, then you're in the right place. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent coin. This iconic penny might look like your average pocket change, but don't be fooled. Some of these coins are worth a surprising amount of money. So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and let's talk about the hidden value inside this humble coin. Background history. Let's start with the basics. The 1963 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and Lincoln's portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials VDB were famously removed from the reverse after public backlash in 1909, but later returned in smaller form under Lincoln's shoulder in 1918, and they remained there, including on the 1963 coin design. The obverse of the 1963 penny shows the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above his head. To the left you'll see the word Liberty, and to the right the date 1963 along with a mint mark if it has one. On the reverse side you'll find the Lincoln Memorial flanked by the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum above and 1 cent below. This reverse design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday, replacing the original wheat ears on the back. Minting and composition. In 1963 these coins were struck in two locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a small D under the date. That year over 750 million coins were minted in Philly, and over 1.7 billion in Denver. That makes the 1963 penny fairly common in circulation. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it that classic red-brown tone that copper coins develop over time. Why are some worth money? Now, let's get to the part everyone loves: the value. The typical 1963 penny in circulated condition is worth about 1 cent, maybe a bit more if it's in better shape, because it's mostly copper, and copper has some value. However, the real money is in the mint state uncirculated coins, and those with errors or rare varieties. Mint state condition. A coin in mint state means it has never been in circulation. These coins are graded on a scale from MS60 to MS70, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1963 penny graded MS65 or higher, especially with full red color, can be worth between $10 to $25. The redder the coin, the better. Coins with full original red luster are far more desirable to collectors than those that have toned brown or red-brown valuable errors and varieties. Let's talk about what really makes some of these coins shoot up in value. Errors. Error coins are the rock stars of the numismatic world. Some 1963 pennies have been found with double dies, especially on the obverse side. A double die is when the die used to strike the coin has a slight offset between impressions, which can create a noticeable doubling effect on the date or lettering. These errors can be worth hundreds of dollars depending on how strong and visible the doubling is. Another rare error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned in the press, and the result is a coin where the design is shifted or partially missing. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these can sell for $50 up to several hundred. Then there's the clipped planchet error, where part of the coin is missing because it was struck on an incomplete blank. Those are rarer, but definitely collectible, and can be worth $20 to $100 or more. Most expensive sales. One of the most expensive 1963 Lincoln pennies ever sold at auction was a bright red MS67 RD example. It sold for nearly $400 due to its pristine condition and strong eye appeal. That might not sound like a fortune, but remember, this is a 1-cent coin. If you found 10 of these in a roll, that would be a very good day. Some error coins have even topped $1,000 for extremely rare double dies or dramatic off-center strikes copper melt value. There's also the melt value to consider. Since pre-1982 pennies are mostly copper, their metal value is higher than 1 cent. At today's copper prices, a 1963 penny contains around 2 to 3 cents worth of copper. However, melting pennies for their metal is illegal in the US, so it's not something we recommend. But it's interesting to know that even their metal makes them more valuable than newer pennies, which are mostly zinc. How to spot a valuable one? If you're hunting for valuable 1963 pennies, here's what to look for. First, look for coins with no bright red luster and clean surfaces. These have the most value in mint state. Next, look closely at the date and lettering with a magnifying glass for signs of doubling. Check for off-center strikes or clipped edges. And always check under the date for a mint mark, which can make some coins more desirable, especially if it's well struck. Current market value. As of now, the market value of a 1963 penny ranges from 1 cent in worn condition to $25 or more in mint state. Rare errors can fetch from $50 to $500 depending on their severity and uniqueness. Prices are strong for high-grade coins, and red specimens continue to bring premium prices at auctions and online marketplaces like eBay and heritage auctions. Conclusion. So there you have it, folks. The 1963 Lincoln penny might be small, but it holds a big story. From its rich history honoring one of America's greatest presidents to its potential hidden value in mint condition or with rare errors, this coin is a must-watch for any collector. Check your change, check your old jars, and if you come across one of these, you just might have a tiny treasure in your hands. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more coin history value guides and collecting tips, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or have a 1963 in your collection. Until next time, happy collecting and keep hunting for that change that can change your life. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1971 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. You might be holding onto a small piece of copper that could actually be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Let's start by going back to the beginning. The Lincoln cent has a rich and iconic history. Originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait on it. Lincoln's profile facing right replaced the earlier Indian head cent and was designed by Victor David Brenner. Now fast forward to the year 1971. At first glance, the penny from this year might not seem special. Millions were minted, and most people didn't pay any attention to them. But not all 1971 pennies are created equal. There are details and varieties that make certain coins from this year highly collectible and potentially very valuable. In 1971, the United States Mint produced pennies in 3 main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If your penny has no mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. A small d means it came from Denver, and an S represents the San Francisco Mint. Each mint has its own quirks, but it's what happened at San Francisco that makes some of these coins especially interesting. That's right, in 1971 the San Francisco Mint struck Lincoln pennies both for circulation and as proofs. Proof coins are made using a special process that results in a highly detailed and shiny finish with mirror-like backgrounds and frosted details. These coins are often found in sets and were not meant for circulation. However, some did make it out into the wild. One of the most famous varieties of the 1971 penny is the 1971S double die obverse. This variety shows noticeable doubling in the letters and numbers, especially in the word Liberty and the date 1971. This happened due to a misalignment in the die used to strike the coin. A genuine 1971S double die penny in high grade can fetch anywhere from several hundred to a few $1,000s depending on its condition. And it's not just the S mint mark coins that are worth money. Some 1971 no mint mark pennies from Philadelphia also show signs of doubling, although those are far more rare and less dramatic, still any form of doubling is of interest to collectors. Let's talk about condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin in poor condition might not be worth more than face value, but a coin in mint state or uncirculated condition, especially with a variety or error, can be worth a substantial amount. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin without any flaws. A 1971 S double die in a grade above MS65 could be worth over $2,000 today, but wait, there's more. It's not just errors and varieties that make a coin valuable. Sometimes coins are struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that becomes a coin. There are known examples of 1971 pennies that were struck on dime planchets or even foreign coin planchets. These errors are extremely rare, but if you ever come across a penny that looks a little off in size, color, or weight, you should definitely get it checked out by a professional. Now let's look at the materials. Starting in 1962 and through 1982, most Lincoln cents were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That's important because the price of copper has gone up over the years, so even a regular 1971 penny technically contains more than 1 cent worth of copper. However, melting pennies for their metal is illegal in the United States, but that doesn't stop collectors from appreciating the intrinsic value today. In the collector's market, the average circulated 1971 penny is worth about 2 to 5 cents because of its copper content and historical interest. Uncirculated examples are often worth between 25 cents to a few dollars. A proof 1971 S in top grade can bring in $5 to $15, and the prize double die varieties, as we mentioned, can go for hundreds or thousands depending on grade and demand. So how do you know if your 1971 penny is worth money? First, check the mint mark. Look for an S under the date. That might mean you have a proof coin or a special variety. Then grab a magnifying glass and check for doubling, especially on Liberty and the date. If you suspect something unusual, you can take your coin to a local coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, before we wrap up, here are a few bonus tips. Store your valuable coins in a cool, dry place. Use coin holders or flips that are free from PVC chemicals, which can damage your coins over time. Never clean a coin. Cleaning can significantly reduce its value, even if it looks dirty or spotted. Leave it in its original condition. To sum it all up, the 1971 Lincoln penny is more than just spare change. It's a coin with potential historical value, and in some cases serious financial value. Keep your eyes open, check your change, and maybe, just maybe, you'll discover a rare treasure hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share with your fellow coin collectors, and let us know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable penny in your collection. Until next time, keep hunting and happy collecting, where we uncover the hidden gems in your pocket change and dive deep into the fascinating world of coins and currency. Today's video is all about the Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1981. Yep, that little penny sitting in your drawer or piggy bank could be worth way more than you think. You might be looking at a coin that's worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on a few key factors. So stick with me, because we're going to break down the history, the variations, and the current market value of the 1981 Lincoln penny in a way that's easy to understand, even if you're just starting your coin collecting journey. Let's kick things off with a little background. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, which marked the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. That's when the U.S. Mint introduced the first Lincoln penny, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials VDB can be seen on certain 1909 coins, and those are a story in themselves, but we'll save that for another video. Fast forward to 1981, and we're still seeing Lincoln on the obverse, or front side of the coin, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This was the design used from 1959 to 2008. So yes, the 1981 penny features the familiar profile of Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty to the left and the date 1981 to the right. Just below the date there may be a mint mark, which we'll get into in a moment. Now you might be asking, why is the 1981 penny special? What makes this specific year stand out? Great question. It all comes down to three main things. First, the material change that happened shortly after. Second, the transition from proof to regular strike types. And third, some incredibly rare errors and varieties that make specific 1981 pennies highly sought after by collectors. Let's talk materials. From 1909 through 1981, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. These are often referred to as copper Lincoln cents. But in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a significant change. They switched the composition to mostly zinc with just a thin copper coating. This was due to rising copper prices, and it made the pre-1982 pennies, especially 1981 and earlier, more valuable for their copper content alone. In fact, each 1981 penny contains about 2.5 cents worth of copper based on current metal prices. Now, melting coins for metal value is illegal in the U.S., but this intrinsic value still makes them more desirable in bulk to collectors and investors alike. Now let's get into the mint marks. In 1981, the Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different U.S. mint locations. The Philadelphia Mint, which had no mint mark. The Denver Mint, which used a D mint mark. And the San Francisco Mint, which used an S mint mark. Now here's where things get really interesting. The San Francisco Mint produced both regular business strikes and proof coins in 1981. Proof coins are specially made with high-quality mirror-like finishes and are typically sold in collector sets. But not all proof coins are created equal, and in 1981 something unique happened. There are actually 2 types of proof pennies from the San Francisco Mint in 1981, known as Type 1 and Type 2. The difference is in the S mint mark itself. Type 1 has a filled S mint mark that appears blurry or mushy. Type 2 has a much sharper, clearer S mint mark. The Type 2 proof is significantly rarer and commands a higher price on the market. A pristine 1981 S Type 2 proof penny graded PR70 by a top grading company like PCGS or NGC can sell for over $1,000, sometimes even more depending on demand and market conditions. Let's move on to errors and varieties. These are the wild cards that can make a regular-looking penny worth a fortune. Some 1981 Lincoln cents were struck with doubling on the obverse, especially in the word liberty or in the motto "In God We Trust." These are called double die errors, and they're highly collectible. If you come across a 1981 penny with clear doubling, especially with strong separation in the letters, you may be looking at a coin worth hundreds of dollars. Another valuable variety includes off-center strikes, which means the coin wasn't properly aligned during the minting process. If enough of the design is visible, especially Lincoln's date and face, collectors will pay a premium for these off-center coins, sometimes up to a few $100s depending on the degree of the error. Let's talk current market value. As of today, a regular 1981 penny in circulated condition is still worth 1 cent in terms of face value, but because of its copper content and collectability, it's actually worth more, like 2 to 3 cents in bulk. Uncirculated examples or coins in mint condition can fetch anywhere from 50 cents to a few dollars depending on the grade. If you have a coin that's graded MS65 or higher, you're looking at $10 to $20 or more, especially with a strong strike and good luster. Denver and Philadelphia mint coins tend to be more common, but still collectible in top grades. San Francisco business strikes are less common, but not especially rare. However, the proof coins, especially the Type 2, are where you find real value. A 1981 S Type 2 PR70 penny can bring in over $1,000 at auction. What should you do if you have a 1981 penny? First, check the mint mark. If it's an S, and you suspect it might be a proof coin, look closely at the S to see if it's a sharp or mushy design. Next, check for any obvious doubling, especially in the lettering or numbers. Then take a look at the condition. If it looks uncirculated, it may be worth submitting to a grading company for professional evaluation. And remember, even common 1981 pennies in good condition have more value than just 1 cent, so don't toss them out without a second look. Alright folks, that wraps up today's deep dive into the 1981 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent coin. From its copper-rich composition to rare proof varieties and valuable errors, this unassuming little penny holds a lot of history and potential value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, keep an eye on your change and never underestimate what a single coin can be worth. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more coin collecting tips, coin history, and hidden treasures. Let me know in the comments if you've found any interesting 1981 pennies or have questions about other years. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating story behind the 2005 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny, and why some of these coins might be worth way more than just a cent. So, if you have some spare change lying around, stick around, because that little penny might just surprise you. So, let's start with a little history. The 1 cent penny featuring Abraham Lincoln has been around since 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of his birth. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it was the first American coin to feature a real person's portrait. The 2005 penny still carries Lincoln's classic bust on the obverse or front side, with a Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse or back. Now here's the thing: even though billions of these coins were minted, not all pennies are created equal. Some have errors or unique characteristics that make them extremely valuable to collectors. The 2005 penny is no exception, and today we'll explore why certain versions of this coin are being sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So what makes a 2005 Lincoln penny potentially valuable? Let's talk mint marks and varieties. In 2005, pennies were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. You can tell which mint your coin came from by looking just below the year. If there's a small letter D, it's from Denver. If there's no mint mark at all, it came from Philadelphia. Now, most 2005 pennies are worth face value, but certain rare errors and high-grade examples can be worth a lot more. One of the most sought-after varieties is the 2005 double die penny. This error occurs during the minting process. When the coin is struck more than once slightly off alignment, this creates a noticeable doubling in the letters or numbers, especially in the word Liberty or the date. If you have a 2005 penny that looks a little strange, or the text appears doubled, you might have a winner. Collectors pay top dollar for error coins, and the more dramatic the doubling, the more valuable the coin. Some double die examples from 2005 have sold for over $100, and if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it's never been used in regular transactions, it could fetch even more. But it's not just about errors. Condition plays a huge role in determining a coin's value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers meaning better condition. A 2005 Lincoln penny that grades MS 67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can easily be worth $50 to several $100s. The key factors are a clean surface, no scratches, strong luster, and no signs of wear. So, how can you tell if your penny is valuable? First, take a close look under good lighting. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can really help examine the letters and numbers for any signs of doubling. Also, check the overall condition. If the coin is shiny with little to no wear and has strong details, it's definitely worth looking into. Grading: you might also find coins with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die cracks. These are all types of mint errors, and they're highly collectible. Off-center strikes are coins where the design is noticeably misaligned, which can happen when the coin isn't properly seated during minting. Clipped planchets mean a piece of the coin is missing due to a mistake when the blank was punched out from the metal sheet. Die cracks appear as raised lines or breaks on the coin surface and are caused by worn-out minting tools. In recent years, the coin market has seen growing interest in modern penny errors thanks to online auctions and social media awareness. Sellers on platforms like eBay or heritage auctions, have successfully sold rare 2005 pennies for impressive prices depending on rarity, demand, and condition. If you happen to have a rare variant with strong eye appeal and proper documentation, you could easily see bids roll in from enthusiastic collectors. And here's something else to consider. Some collectors specifically focus on building full date and mint mark collections, which means they need every penny from every year and every mint. That means even normal-looking 2005 pennies in excellent condition can be desirable for someone trying to complete a high-quality set. Now let's talk numbers. What is the current market value of a 2005 Lincoln penny? As of now, regular circulated 2005 pennies are still worth 1 cent, but uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS65 and above, can range from $5 to $20 depending on demand. Double die and mint error versions can command anywhere from $50 to over $500, again depending on the type of error and condition. So should you start checking your pocket change? Absolutely. It costs nothing to look, and you just might uncover a small copper coin that's worth a big chunk of change. Remember, the coin collecting world is always evolving, and what might seem ordinary today could be a hot item tomorrow. Keep an eye out for those rare variations, and never underestimate the power of a tiny penny. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more coin stories and hidden treasures. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin, or if you're going to start searching your change drawer after this video. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next penny be a rare one.